Let's be real. The Mavic 4 Pro is not a drone that will impress you on day one. It will probably make the biggest impression to you 3 months down the line. When you realize you keep choosing it, even when you have many other drones that can do the job. I've flown this drone a lot in the past 9 months or so I have a lot of things to say, and this is my long-term impression of the Mavic 4 Pro, so you can actually figure out who this drone is really for. Now, before we talk about my impressions of the camera, the lenses, all the different features, let's clear something up. This drone is not for beginners. It's not for casual flyers either, and it's definitely not for anyone looking to get into the air cheaply. That's for sure. The Mavic 4 Pro is for cinematic flyers, for professional creators, and people who care about image quality, flexibility, and reliability. Those are things that this drone definitely excels at. If you're a type of person who notices focal length differences, color depth, color grading, the behavior of the drone in windy conditions, then this drone will definitely make a very strong impression on you. If not, then you're probably overpaying for something that you won't be using at its maximum potential. So here's everything that I love about this drone. First, let's talk about the lenses. So we have 3 different lenses on the Mavic 4 Pro. We have the 28mm wide-angle lens, the 70mm medium telephoto, and the 168mm telephoto lens. But to me, the real stars of the drone are the medium telephoto and the telephoto lenses. They're quite ridiculous, and that's in the best way possible, because this is where cinematic flying actually becomes cinematic. We have a lot of compression, we can separate the subject from background, we can show some scale, and we have the parallax effect, which we all love and looks so nice. So you can definitely tell better stories without flying too close. And once you get used to those lenses, going back feels painful, I would say. In the past, I've complained a little bit about how soft sometimes the image look from these medium telephoto and telephoto lenses. That's still the case. They are not perfect by any means, but I can live with those compromises, even though I feel like a firmware update could have solved some of the issues that we are experiencing with those lenses. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes the image becomes a little bit too soft for my liking, and it lacks detail, lacks some sharpness that would have been great to have in the first place. That's, I guess, some type of limitation from the hardware, maybe, since DJI hasn't really addressed it. But like I said, I can definitely live with that. Now, the next thing that I really like is the night performance of this drone, which is surprisingly good. Even in scenarios where it's pitch black, even if you don't have that many sources of light, it will still do a fantastic job. And the most important thing is that the noise is not that bad. So you can easily save your image, even if it's a little bit noisy. If you're using DaVinci Resolve, for example, it has a pretty fantastic noise reduction plugin that you can use built in. I keep getting surprised by the quality of the Mavic 4 Pro at night. This is one of my favorite features, that people just don't realize how good the drone is at night until they see the results from it. And even better, if you shoot at blue hour, for example, you don't wait until it gets pitch black. It's even better the amount of light, detail, and sharpness and clarity you can get from the Mavic 4 Pro, which is fantastic. Next, arguably the biggest thing about the Mavic 4 Pro, 6K 60 frames per second all-eye codec. Now, this is reserved for the creator combo of this drone, which is a little bit more expensive. So it is like something that not everyone has experienced, but if you have splurged a little bit more for the extra features that this creator combo gives you, you have access to the all-eye codec, and this is everything I use. I never use anything besides the all-eye codec because I want to have that flexibility. I want to have the maximum details, maximum image processing power that this drone can give me. I don't care about the fact that it takes so much space. I can live with that. I have plenty of space, so that's not something that I'm bothered about. But what I get in return is something that I've never experienced before. It's amazing what you can achieve, what you can extract out of this drone. It's just on the brink of using a cinema drone, I believe. This is just so good and you can do so much with it if you know what you're doing. I would say that D-Log is that color profile that I just love working with because it's so flexible and it can do so much for you if you push it the right way. My super great one-click LUTs are optimized for working with D-Log and D-Log M footage, and my DaVinci Resolve Power Grade has also been tweaked so it can accommodate D-Log and D-Log M footage. So one of my favorite things to do is slap my DaVinci Resolve Power Grade on top of an all-eye D-Log footage shot on the Mavic 4 Pro and just see the magic in action. It works in less than a second and you're golden, you're good to go. So working with D-Log footage should not feel intimidating because it really isn't. The next thing I like is the intelligent flight modes on the Mavic 4 Pro, which are fantastic because these drones keep getting smarter and smarter, so getting those smooth shots is now easier than ever, so you really don't have a good excuse why your shots are not silky smooth. The tracking is also super solid. It has its hiccups sometimes, but for the most part, for the majority of the cases where I've shot something with active track on, it has been a very positive experience. Something else which definitely should not be underestimated is how silent this drone is. If you're shooting a lot around people or in urban areas, you know how important that is. And even though this is a big drone, it is still quite silent. Wind resistance is something that I never have to worry about when flying the Mavic 4 Pro because it can definitely withstand pretty much anything up to hurricane winds without any problems. Conditions are never a worrying factor for me when it comes to flying this drone. Like I mentioned, I have the creator combo of this drone, which comes with the RC2 Pro remote controller. Now I wouldn't really say a love-hate relationship with this remote because for the most part, I actually love it, but there are a couple of things that I don't like about this remote as well. The bright screen, the responsiveness, the ease of use, the fact that you just need to take it out of your backpack and just open it up and it's ready to go, makes it a really nice way of controlling your drone. What I have issues with though is that the build quality feels a little bit flimsy. I don't feel like this mechanism on the back is super strong, and I've heard some people breaking the remote quite easily, so I always have this in the back of my mind that I need to be super careful with the remote. And of course, auto powering on the drone and the remote controller, which I already mentioned, those are things that I cannot live without any longer. And finally, from the list of things I really love about this drone, which is quite long actually, but the final thing is the transfer speed and the internal storage. So those things make a big difference if you're shooting a lot, if you want to quickly transfer everything that you have shot, especially since all the files are so big, but you want to quickly drop them on an additional hard drive or an SSD. The transfer speed is actually quite insane. So you don't really feel the large sizes because they transfer so quickly, and that makes a big difference if you're shooting a lot and just helps you with your workflow quite a lot in your day-to-day life, I would say. When it comes to charging the batteries of the Mavic 4 Pro, I've been using this LK Top charger for the past couple of months, and I can honestly say that this is one of those accessories that you don't really think about, but they quietly upgrade your entire workflow. Taking a look at it, you will see that it's noticeably smaller than the DJI charger, especially because we don't have that charging cradle. And although both chargers can give you full 3 batteries in about 90 minutes or so, the LK Top delivers a 100% charge to your first battery in just about 47 minutes. This is a 200 watt charger with a built-in LCD screen that shows you real-time information about the battery status, power, charging modes, and there's no guessing or no blinking lights when charging. You have 3 different smart modes for full charge, storage charging, or even silent mode, plus we have active fan cooling to keep the temperatures under control. On top of that, there's a USB-C output to charge any other gear that you want, or of course your drone controller, simultaneously with the batteries. I'll link this charger below if you want to check it out because it's significantly smaller than the original one that comes with the drone, and if you're looking for more portability but still a lot of power, this might be a good fit for you. Now here are some of the things that I don't like. Finally, after such a long list of things I like, there are a few I actually don't like after using the Mavic 4 Pro for 9 months. The Infinity Gimbal takes the first place because yeah, it's cool, but I never use it. I love the tilt. I don't really care about the infinity rotation. Yes, it can introduce some really interesting types of shots, but I never really deal with that. Maybe I'm a bit more traditional when it comes to my drone shots, but since I'm flying FPV, I keep that aspect for my FPV shots. I prefer my camera drone shots to be a little bit more traditional looking. So maybe that's just me, but I don't really like the Infinity gimbal. Next is vertical shooting, which is kind of connected to the Infinity gimbal, but again, I never use it. I always prefer to have a horizontal image, which I can later crop if I need vertical, but I never really think about just shooting vertically because it's also a big limitation if you need the footage afterwards. For YouTube, for example, if you record a banger shot and you only have it vertically, that's super limiting, so I never shoot that because I don't want to limit myself. And yes, before you ask, I've seen that many people talk about D-Lock-M and auto ISO so you can get the most dynamic range out of this drone. Yeah, that's not for me. Sorry, but auto ISO, D-Lock-M, when you have D-Lock and you have manual settings, you have any filters, you can kind of make the image as you wish anyway. Yeah, I can't really explain it, but I just don't want to use auto ISO and D-Lock-M on a drone like this. It's just pointless to me. And finally, the C2 label. As we all know, this drone is more than 900 grams, which makes it fit into a C2 category instead of the C1. So that, of course, brings more regulations, more hurdles that you have to comply with. For some people, that might be a deal breaker. But again, for me, it is kind of limiting sometimes, depending on what type of shoot I have. But for the most part, it's not something that I'm bothered about. Here's my final take about the Mavic 4 Pro. It might not be exciting or as exciting as other drone releases on paper. It might not be super flashy, but the best thing about this drone comes after months of using it. Small things here and there that you notice, maybe in different lighting conditions, maybe in different environments, when stronger winds come. Those are things that make a good impression, very solid impression to you when you actually use the drone for many hours, where you were able to actually appreciate where the drone shines the most. Yes, it has a lot of things that might be a deal breaker for many people depending on their taste, depending on how they shoot, what they expect out of their drone, how much money they're willing to spend. But for me personally, the type of shots that I do and the type of quality I hope to get every single time I fly, this is a non-negotiable drone that I will keep for as long as I can, unless there's something better on the market, which for me right now, there isn't. This is just simply the best drone that you can get with your money right now before getting into the Inspire, the big boy and the big money type of drones that require like 3, 4, 5 times more money that you can spend on this. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Never stop flying, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.